Hello and welcome to Let's Play Corpse Party, but not the version of Corpse Party that maybe you'd be thinking of. You know, with the cool fancy PSP sprites, the CG art that just makes everything look all more effectively disturbing and shit, and the voice acting that was superb. No, this is the original remake that was on PC. It's just like, I guess that's one of the cases where a console version, like, I think, like, probably even PC gamers would probably agree, it's like PCP version is better than the PC version here. But it's still alright. Honestly, I think, like, as you can see, I haven't played this game since March. I forget his name, the generic protagonist. I think his art style honestly looks better like this. He looks slightly less generic than his, you know, fancier portraits. But this Steam version here is the version that was like the original creators of the original game. Like, the original game was very different. I haven't actually played it, and they remade it at some point. And this is that version, but they also remade it again for the PSP, and that's a version I think everyone's more familiar with like the, you know, gory CG artwork, where like you'd have like a character scene where you just like show like a character just being completely psychotic and all that shit. So this game doesn't really have that. It's the exact same game, everything plays out the same, you can see the sprites are identical. It's just that you don't have the game CG, you don't have the, you know, more up-to-date art style for the characters, portraits. It looks a bit odd as a result, but I don't know, you can get used to it. And the voice acting is not as good. It's passable at times and laughable at others, and sometimes it doesn't even exist. And I haven't got all the achievements for it. And I don't think there's like any information like recent, obviously. So like it's just like I don't think there's probably a mod or anything to update all that shit, because it seems like that's one of the more complicated ones to do. I don't know. I have no idea. It doesn't matter. I've been wanting the LP this for ages. This is why I was like, I remember when I originally got PSP, I was like, finally I could maybe like get to link up to the PS3 and play it on that. Nope. PS Vita? Nope. It's just you can use it as a controller. It's just like, god damn it, I had high hopes of potentially LPing that one day, the PSP version. But I guess the only real way is to use an emulator. I've never used a PSP emulator, but who knows, maybe somewhere down the line. But they kind of seem redundant if I'm LPing this version, and it'd be the same thing, but just with updated, you know, shit, essentially, which makes it cooler, but whatever. I'm still, you know, like, I recorded 3 parts for Spooky's Jump Scare Mansion yesterday morning. It is now the next day. I still feel a bit weird. It feels surreal to get back to recording, so I'm still in that kind of state. If any are wondering, it's like mental breakdown kind of thing. Mental health just went freaking nuts for a bit, and I just felt horrible. And I eventually recovered from it, but I still have that kind of, just like, doesn't help that I keep having freaking vivid nightmares here and there, and they usually involve my mental health going to shit. It's not pleasant at all. And you know, the irony is, during all that, I was like, it's just like, I felt alone. I'd be up like the early hours of the morning, and everyone else would be asleep. Nowadays, it's the reverse. I'm up in the morning, only my brother's awake. It's like typical, that is. Anyways, I guess let us begin. I'm gonna, you know, have to readjust the window. Let's see how much. Oh yeah, that's gonna be quite a big of a readjust, as you can see there. Select to record your game. Just like, I'm already recording it. I think that's melodic right there. This game's kind of loud. Corpse Party. I can read a bit of Japanese. That's kind of there. Anyways, I'm gonna stop recording, readjust the record window, and we shall begin. So it's 2011. That's when they made this version. Oh, Xseed Games. I remember randomly playing one of the games that they published before. It's like they don't make the games always, they just publish and license. But anyways, a moment. Okay, let's begin. You know, the annoying thing about Camtasia is you can like click it to record a window, but like right above it where it has like the, you know, like the icon, it says Corpse Party version December 19, 2017, Steam. You can't see it, but essentially it always, like, if you click on a window, it'll add that as well, like the whole window instead of just the game. So I have to readjust it anyway. Pain in the ass. Also, it's like I've only like recently began to realize just how out of date this version of Camtasia is. I've been using it for quite a number of years now. It's Camtasia Studio Recorder 8. I don't know what version they use nowadays, but I looked up the updated version a while back, and it's like you can install it on 2 devices, which I find neat. Definitely gonna look into that somewhere down the line. You can record up to 60 frames per second. And I don't think this version probably records up to 60 frames per second, because I noticed some recordings can look a bit Now, I was originally going to be recording for Wind Waker, but can't be asked getting the GameCube back up at the moment, you know. It's currently downstairs, my nephew's been using it. I also noticed, just like a while back, my mother mentioned that, oh, he likes Spyro, and he's just like, he plays Spyro. It's like, which one? Because the only one I knew that he actually had was Enter the Dragonfly, and I'm just like, did he gain any enjoyment out of that? That's a notorious bad game. But no, I found fucking Spyro free. It was like, I've been wondering where that went. I remember seeing it ages ago, and I guess he found it and like started playing it or something. And of course, in typical fashion, it's covered in chocolates. So you know, when he's used stuff, it's usually covered in chocolates. The casing, I mean, of course. Just like, I was wondering where the case for that was, because I'd remembered, like, I actually own Spyro 2 and 3. I don't know where I ever happened to Spyro 2, but Spyro, like, I mean physical copies. Like, I've got them off the PSN as well, but I mean, like, physical copies from many years ago. And so I guess he's been playing a bit of Spyro 3. How about that? I've been playing on his PS2 when I was recovering, so I guess just like, yeah, you can borrow my GameCube because I used the PS2. I don't know. Anyways, this has nothing to do with this. So as you can see, I've not got every ending, and considering it's like 19 hours total gameplay I've done on this, I don't know how long this one's gonna be, but anyway, let's get started. I'm gonna aim for, again, all the endings, which is gonna be a bitch at some point. View the chapter 1 opening. Yeah, might as well. It's like, why not? Kind of feel weird if we didn't. Satoshi is my pride and joy. She'd do anything for me. I'm surprised I can read these. He usually goes too fast for me to read. I don't think reaching like that, for example. Something. It's just because the way it's written is just confusing. But I still love her with all my heart. I mean, it's kind of intentional, really, to make it hard to read, because it's just like, ooh, spooky text. See what I mean? It's like, that's not Ayumi's voice, but it is. Running down the stairs, the kindly teacher lost her footing. She tumbled and she fell. It's like, sometimes the voice acting is there and sometimes it isn't as well, which is really confusing. And the voice acting in this version, because this is the original creators of the game. This is before like they've got like an updated team for like the PSP port version, which was, you know, much more refined. You know, it had a lot more, you know, probably much more of a budget, I guess. The voice acting in this isn't nearly on par, but it's alright at times. But it feels quiet more than anything, you know? It's just like, I can't remember his name, the glasses guy. There's a scene with him that the voice acting just makes me go, oh my god, that is pretty bad. Anyways. And she died. Ooh. This took place in a school called Heavenly Host Elementary, and it wasn't long after that the whole place got shut down. You know what? Just like, I know I'm rambling a lot, but this one's relevant. Corpse Party Blood Drive was the first Corpse Party game I ever played, with this being the second one. And I gotta say, this one, while it's not as good as the PSP version, and I still haven't played, it's still the same game, more or less, and it's good. The story is good, it's all creepy and disturbing and shit. Blood Drive is shit. It's just like the theme just doesn't feel right. Some of the story's alright, the characters are there, but the fucking added characters, because they added characters from a spin-off and made it really unbalanced. So you got like this freaking scythe-wielding blonde idiot with her freaking tits hanging out, taking up most of the CGs because fan service. And she's got the worst personality in the world, and she acts like a stereotypical kind of like, I'm a godly bitch so I can just destroy everything. And she's like, there's no fear in it. It's like the whole fear of Heavenly Host gets absolutely taken away in that game. It doesn't feel scary because you've got characters that are freaking overpowered and shit. It's just like in the background, then they kind of like jump the shark with the plot being way more fucking chaotic than it needed to be. It's like this game feels the most refined. Like, not this version necessarily. The PSP version feels like the spirit version, but you get what I mean. First one feels like it stands on its own, while the sequels kind of went a bit too much in the fan servicey direction, if you ask me, and less in the horror direction. It's just, I don't know, just a bit of a ramble. It's just like, man, I was so disappointed with Blood Drive. I was like, I think it was called Blood Drive. I was expecting, you know, ooh, creepy horror, and I didn't really get much of that. And the art style they used wasn't really, like, the chibi forms made it kind of hard to take seriously. It's like you got these, like, you know, low quality sprites in the PSP version as well and all that. But this fits the theme, you know, while it was like proper chibi form with, you know, constant smile on their face kind of thing. It's hard to keep make a scary atmosphere with something like that, you know. And the load times, my god, the load times are terrible in that game. It was a very flawed game. So, yeah. Just thought I'd ramble about that because I knew I inevitably would, so I might as well get out of the way before we even get to the freaking start of this shit. Anyways, it was then bulldozed to the ground and forgotten. But what elementary school once stood right here? I mean, that elementary was on the site of our own Kizaragi Academy. Some say that teacher still has no idea she's dead, even to this day. And on rainy evenings like this, after classes have come to an end. I just realized I'm reading it normally, but this is her. You see what I mean about the voice acting? No, it's limited. It's like she voiced acted the first line and not all the other lines. It's kind of inconsistent. While, you know, in the PSP version, there's voice acting all the way through. Some claim she roams these dark hallways, still believing them to be her own. Ooh! I only just now realized this right here. Neat, that's relevant. In fact, it's almost time for her to make her rounds. Just after 7 o'clock. I know I should get to the point, but I remember watching Cryotic, or just Cry, just call him Cry, everyone seems to, playing this, and like, his version didn't have voice acting because the emulator was like dodgy or something like that. So he voice acted all the characters. He does, you know, he's got that kind of soothing voice, and it just kind of worked with the game, you know. I don't think my voice acting will work here though. Because, you know, I don't know. That's when she appears, always accompanied by a sudden blackout that leaves the entire building dark as night. Knock knock, you'll hear from the blackness, followed by the sound of the classroom door slowly sliding open. You know, if she sounded like me, that'd be the weirdest thing possible, to be honest. I think that would scare them more than anything. As her pale white face cuts through the stillness, her soft voice always echoes the same question. Is anyone still here? And then... Satoshi, that was his name. Generic protagonist guy who's not really much of a protagonist, if you ask me. See? Not just like it's just like everyone looks the same as they do in the PSP version. Nothing different there, but the portraits are different. It's like I think like the art style is alright. It's like some characters, like Satoshi, I feel looks better than his updated one, which is weird for the sake. It's like, I don't know, it's an art style, like different art style. You know, you just be like, well, this is a downgrade. Maybe yes, maybe no. But I feel like his character out of all of them, I feel looks better in this version. It's like, I don't know, it's just something about his, like, you know, updated PSP portrait that just looks a bit tad too generic. I mean, this looks generic too, but it looks even more generic. I know. Satoshi always bugged me, to be honest. Especially, like, I don't know, it's just like, I don't know, you know, he's just one of the cast members that was always just like, you're so generic, why are you even playing a center role in all this? Just, why? It's just like, it wasn't a character that interested me much. But at least his portrait looks, you know, I don't know. You know it. Just like, oh, you remember Ayumi if you, like, you know, I mean, it fits the sprite better, I guess. I mean, everyone's got brown hair here. Black hair, blonde, brown hair. But, you know, in the updated version, she's got black hair. But I don't know if they changed the sprite or anything for that. But updated portrait is clearly better. They look even younger here, don't they, in that portrait. They all have, like, portraits like this as well as portraits like this, of course. So yeah, if you're unfamiliar with this version, it's gonna be a bit of a surreal sight. That and, you know, the different voice actors. And, you know, I don't think her portrait looks all that bad either, to be honest. It's like oh yeah, Oshigine, as she usually calls him. His portrait looks surprisingly almost identical in a way to his update portrait. It's like these two characters and the teacher, or maybe it was just these two characters, apparently weren't in the very original version. So like they were added. This was their first appearance essentially. Like, so this came before the PSP version. Look at her. She looks even younger than she does in the update version. It looks okay, but compared to the other ones, it's kind of His portrait though, it looks just fine, honestly. See what I mean? Inconsistent voice acting. It's there one moment and then it's gone the next. It's just bad timing, that's all. Generic. I'm generic. You always have the best reactions. It's like, look how different she looks. It's like, I'll put up an image of how she looks in like the PSP and PS Vita versions, just like next to her, just for comparison. This is like, they look even younger than that, man. That boggles my mind. How old are they supposed to be? I think they're like in their later years of high school or something like that, so they're probably around like 16, 17 at least or some shit, or maybe 15, I don't know. It just doesn't look it, does it? It's just like, what the hell? Now I have to voice act female characters. It's like I'm playing Higurashi again. I just love telling stories to you, Machida. It's so rewarding. I don't know what type of voice to give you, though. Can't give you the Rena voice. If you're unfamiliar with my VN channel, you don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, probably.
委員長が怪談マニアなんてどうかと思うんだ。
See what I mean? Now he's voice acting.
男の子で今の悲鳴もどうかと思うな。
Wait. Gotta think of it, the voice actor for Satoshi didn't really overreact to that, really, did he? It didn't feel like he went like in the original. Well, this is the original, but in the PSP version, the voice actor had more of a Wah! It wasn't really all that high pitched, if I recall, either. But it's like, you know, guys, man, they can scream at high pitches. I mean, how do you just like think of people like PewDiePie when he used to play horror games? He's like, his voice would go really high pitched. Like, I can make my voice go high, but I've got a naturally deep voice. And whenever I react to something, I can just like jump or anything. I don't go ah. I'm more of a just like whoa, you know. I don't overreact. I sometimes do deliberately overreact just for the hell of it, but you know, usually I'm just like whoa. You don't really see like me just going ah in a high-pitched voice. So you know, whoever heard of a boy who can hit a note like that, but then when he screams, you've clearly not heard many guys scream before. It's like, I remember this one time years ago, I was at a bar with my sister and her friends. I don't drink or anything, so it was a weird experience, you know. But there was this one guy, and this like someone like just tapped him on the shoulder, and he wasn't expecting it or something like that. And he let out the most high-pitched girly scream I've ever heard. It was hilarious. So I've heard higher than that. And just like, I mean, just like think of like metal and rock singers, man. They can hit some high notes when they do those screams. It's ridiculous. It's just like some of them can go into the high sixes, man. It's just like, and then it's like then you got like, you know, like I suppose before puberty hits, they can hit even higher notes. It's like walking in the air, for example. It's like when we're walking in the air, but with a very high pitched voice. Because, you know, he was a kid when he recorded that. But anyways, guys can hit some pretty high notes. Surprisingly. Look at that! He's like only halfway voice acting. Save me! I don't think his portrait looks all that bad either. Honestly, I don't think many of the portraits look bad. They look alright. It's like, I prefer the updated version, obviously, but I don't think it looks too bad. But, you know, the lack of CG art in this game really kind of, like, holds it back a bit, if you ask me.
Yosuke! この野郎!
はいはい。じゃれないじゃれない。
If we don't hurry and get back to cleaning this place up, it'll be 7 o'clock till we do. And you wouldn't want to be stuck here during the appointed time now, would you? It's like, this is flawless voice acting. But wait till you hear some of the bad voice acting. It's like, I don't know, it's just like, that's the thing when you like hear voice acting in a different language. It's hard to tell what the good from the bad at times. Sometimes it's very obvious. Like I said, this character later on has a scene where his voice actor has a really bad case of bad kind of voice acting. And I can tell. There's no need for a language barrier there. I could tell it was not exactly the most. It could have been a lot better, kind of, you know, done. But yeah. So like, yeah, it's hard to tell though sometimes. You know, it feels like they were on a bit of a budget, obviously, with this one. So they didn't have as much, you know, high quality voice acting. But I think it's passable for the most part when it's actually there, of course.
回っちゃった。
I just realized I was gonna use my fancy keyboard to play this game. I haven't got it set up. I've had it since like Christmas, maybe 2 years ago, or maybe it was last year even. It's like one of those fancy gaming ones. It has all kinds of nice lights on it. It's fancy and shit. Probably use it the next time I record if I remember.
もう7時か。雨全然止まないな。
You know what? It's weird, you know, since learning a bit of Japanese, it's just like I could hear him say rain there. Ame or something like that. That's the only thing I could recognize out of his sentence, if not for this. Although he did say it's 7 already, so I know 7 is Nana, I think. Is it? Yeah, I think it is. But there's also different L readings for it. That's what makes Japanese confusing to me. Just like, it's not like in English where you just get one word and that's it. It's like, once you know, like, rabbits, it's like, well, it's just rabbits. It's like you could refer to a rabbit in a variety of ways, but it's rabbit at the end of the day. You don't word in a different way. I mean, you got a hare, for example, that's a different thing, though, isn't it? It just confuses me. And the sentence structure.
傘なら私の置き傘貸してあげるから大丈夫だよ。
Sentence structure in Japanese is different from it in English. I've also been learning Welsh as well, and I think that one's similar in that it doesn't follow the same sentence structure that English does, which makes learning other languages confusing, you know?
そうか。助かるな。
But of course, you know, with my recent, you know, anxiety and depression and shit, I haven't really done a lot of studying, though. I haven't been to college in weeks.
あれ？
停電か？
嘘。
Isn't it a little late for anybody else to be here? He's like frickin' Keiichi from frickin' Higurashi. He has that similar look. It's just like, except Keiichi's awesome, Satoshi's kind of a bit... He's a bit like toast without anything on it. I don't know. This character just bugs me for some reason. Are they gone? Hey, Satoshi, aren't you gonna go see my superb voice acting? I mean, the voice actor, whoever's doing Yoshiki's voice acting, is doing a better job than I did right there. What? Me? Why? Well, I can't do it. I'm paralyzed here. Can't move my legs 1 inch. It's just like, I just said, like, I know Japanese a bit, but I can't read this in Japanese. I wonder how that would sound. It's weird. I remember, like, reading in Japanese in my Go-Go Nippon LP on my VN channel, and when I voice acted it also while reading it, and when I could actually read a line fluently, I just sounded like an over-the-top Japanese voice actor. It was like, oh! It's like, maybe that's how you detect well the quality. It's like, I felt like I was hamming it up, and then just like, it reminds me of like some anime where, like, you know, the voice acting is over the top. So it's just like, oh, interesting, you know. Just like, maybe that's one way of telling, just like when they're hamming it up or not. I'm scared too, you know. But I will walk in places. I think I'm more scared than you, so I leave this duty in your capable hands. Man, you really are an ass sometimes. You know that? It's weird. I can give more variety to female characters than male characters, it seems. I can't think of a delinquent voice to give you. Satoshi's more of a timid character. He's like a scaredy cat. Satoshi, you want me to come with you? No, I'll be okay. I'll just be generic. Shiver. You don't think Ayumi's story might be true, do you? Man, the drop in quality in my voice acting compared to my Higurashi LP. I mean, there's like, not like my Higurashi LP is flawless in voice acting, I kind of got used to voice acting those characters, but here it feels like I'm back to Clock Tower quality here. Moshige has no words. Mochida, I don't think you should go. But the plot beckons. Can I read what's on the blackboard? 727 Cult Festival in full swing. Let's sell us some red bean soup like there's no tomorrow. Daiduri Kobayashi Tachibana. Ah! Now that was higher than his voice actor.
そろそろ帰る準備しなさい。なんちゃって。
Her voice sounds younger as well, doesn't it? I mean, she's in her early 20s, if I recall the teacher.
楽しそうね。どう？片付け進んでる？
I don't think her portrait looks all that bad either. It's just a different art style.
ゆい先生。
I was about to voice act that. Now we've got an almost full cast. Did I scare you? You were telling that old ghost story, right? Now I'm doing the teacher voice I do for Chie in my Higurashi LP. Just like all refined. Your timing was way too good, Miss Yue. You know, you've heard the story too. If it's that old tale about Heavenly Host Elementary School, then of course I have. After all, it wasn't too long ago that I was a student here myself. Oh yeah, I hadn't thought about that. When it comes to the 7 wonders of Kisaragi High, I'm pretty well versed. They've been around for a long time now. Though I can't take credit for the blackout, that was just good fortune. Anyway, Mochida. Hi, yes? I ran into a rather adorable individual in the hall who's come to see you. Yeah? Come on in, and fill up the cast. Hello, everybody! No, I can't give her that voice.
あれ、ゆか、どうしたんだお前。
お兄ち
just like, you know, I think she's supposed to be like 12 or something like that. It's just like, what's up with the clothes? Is that like that seems to be the school uniform for a school, but it looks like she's wearing a fucking bib. She looks like she's like 5, for God's sake. Just like, it's really weird. Like, just like, even in the PSP version, I think she looks weird, to be honest. She seems a little out of place.
ゃん。君が傘を忘れているからって、わざわざ届けに来てくれたみたいよ。
Oh, yeah, I guess I did. Sorry about that, Yuka. Thanks. Is she from the junior high? She looks like she's from, kindergarten more than anything else. Nice to meet you, my brother's always like this. I can't, I've got the highest voice in the whole class. Always really kind, I mean. Oh, that's another thing. She has a friend from school in Blood Drive, and she has like a major plot twist for the character later on. She doesn't really have much reaction to the freaking, you know, just like everything, all the crazy shit that's going on, which further kills the mood and makes the horror less horror and more kind of, oh, it's kind of in the background. That was my main problem with Blood Drive, more than anything else, was the tone was not the same as it was originally. It was way off. It was more like a really poorly put together horror comedy. It's like they were blending in, like there's a spin-off version that's all about the comedy, and it feels like they were blending that in because they had characters from that come into the main plots. It's like they were trying to combine that with the more serious tone of the plot, and it just didn't work. You can't have both of those. It just ruins it. It's just like it just didn't work, and it just made everything a big clusterfuck, if you ask me. Oh, it's really kind, I mean. Ah. That had no idea you had such a cute little sister, Satoshi. Big grin. Sorry, Yuka, it seems like we're still going to be a little while yet. I'm just gonna give him my generic protagonist voice.
Really? Well, that's okay. I'll help too. I look and sound younger than I actually am.
It's like, Jesus Christ, man. You will? Oh, okay, thanks.
よーし、じゃあ助っ人が2人増えたことだし、
Inconsistencies in the voice acting.
さっさと文化祭の片付けやっちゃおっか。
Yeah, alright! Imagine if they sounded like that. I mean, it'd be weird for a few reasons. One, how the hell their voice would sound like that. And two, why would it be in English? Then again, no, that happens, you know. Some Japanese people just randomly break out some English every now and then. I guess you're roping me into this too, huh?
はい、じゃあみんなお疲れ様でした。
So far, it feels like I've only got the teacher voice down so far, and Satoshi's voice, I guess. It's gonna take a while getting used to what voice to give each character.
明日からの連休、無茶しすぎないようにね。
It's like I've got a voice that I give to Satoko. I mean, she clearly didn't read all of that line, did she? Just part of it, probably. But anyways, it's like a voice I give to Satoko in my Higurashi LP, where I feel like, it's like, oh, can I use them for one of these characters? And I'm just like, I don't know. It's just like, it has a, it's just like, it feeling natural for these characters. I don't know. It doesn't feel like it would fit any of the characters. Then I've got a voice I give to Rika, which is kind of like a bit of a monotone, which is a bit of a contradiction, really, because in the anime adaptation, she's got a very cutesy voice. So I kind of go in the opposite direction with that. It's kind of like how I use Konatar as a mascot for my channel, but whenever I use it, like in the After LB Talks, like voicing her as a character and all that, it's a different personality entirely. Just like, oh yeah, very chill and, you know, just like kind of down to earth, rather than being all like, I'm obsessed with games and manga and shit. This Red Bean Cafe was the Talk of the Culture festival, so do give yourselves a hand. You guys worked hard, and it really paid off. And you even resisted the urge to bail on cleaning. This old TA couldn't be more proud of you all. So, have some coffee milk. I brought enough for everybody. Coffee milk? You got these from the lunchroom, didn't you? It's just like the portraits make me want to go for an even higher pitched voice than I feel is necessary. They're kinda lukewarm.
Stomach's so gurgly, I don't think milk would sit well with me right now.
Is from your fight with that vending machine. I'll bet you must have pulled that change lever a good 10 times before you finally gave up. It's like the text when it scrolls on its own is just a bit slow when voice acted. Crap, you saw that, huh?
Miss Yue, thank you. Arigato and all that.
I know. It's like, I'm thinking of the Satoko voice that I used in my Higurashi LP. I think Seiko I might give it a Seiko, because they have like the closest to a similar personality. They're both mischievous. Let's try reading it in a Satoko voice and see if it sounds right.
Miss Yue, thank you.
No, it just didn't sound natural. It's just like, that's the Satoko voice. It's only Satoko who can use that voice. None of these characters would fit that voice that I gave her. Maybe one of them could fit the Rena voice. One of them's already got the Chie voice. And maybe one could fit the Mion voice. None of them could fit the Oishi voice though, because the Oishi voice I got, I would be like, thank you. It's just like that's too deep for any of these characters. Like, okay, thank you.
Thanks.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome. Now get some voice acting in there, will you? I can't do all of this work.
Thanks, Peach.
Suzumoto, I really liked your speech. Best of luck to you at your new school. I know you'll do just fine.
Thanks.
Won't be the same around you without you, Suzume. No, that's me. Well, Shige's takes it the hardest of them, of course, because he's closer to her than any of the other ones.
I know you, Suzumoto. You'll make new friends in no time flat. I'm sure of it.
It's not like you're moving that far away. I don't think I can even give the Mion voice to any of these characters. Like, the Mion voice would be more like, it's not like you're moving that far away. It's just like, it feels like, I don't know. Just none of those voices in my mind fit these characters. They're purely for Higurashi and maybe other characters, but not any of these characters.
Come winter break, we'll all make sure they come visit.
It's like they'll have interchangeable voices for the most part.
Absolutely.
Wait, you mean I can go too?
Thank you, all of you. Sniffle, sniffle, sniffle. Hey, brother, is that girl transferring to a new school or something?
Yeah, today's culture festival was her last day to live.
Oh, that's so sad.
Yeah, it is. Nothing we can do about it, so unfortunately. That's a shit, isn't it? It's like transferring. It's like I never had to transfer schools or anything like that. But I remember having a best friend back in the day that moved away, and just like shit like that really just like it's just it's just like yeah, you know. So I can totally understand the situation of it.
Hey, Shishioto, before we go. Since we're losing one of our own, do you mind if we try something? It's called Sachiko Ever After.
Who's Sachiko, and what's with the paper doll? Is this another one of your occult things?
Kind of. This is, well, it's a charm that I found on the internet.
Because, you know, it was 2008 probably, 2011. So, you know, well, the internet had been around many years, but, you know, it didn't feel like the internet really kicked off till the turn of the century. I mean, I didn't really have the internet properly till 2008, for crying out loud.
If we do it right, then all of us will be together forever. Or we'll always be friends. Anyway, that's the gist of it. Oh, it's a charm?
Yep, that's all Shinozaki. Shinozaki, not Shinozuki. I have to say, Suzumoto is totally bonkers for that kind of stuff. Wait. Shinozaki. Maybe I should give her the Mion voice. She's got the same last name. But I don't know, it just doesn't fit her art style. And it would just kind of clash with her actual voice actor whenever she pops up. Because it sounds a lot more high-pitched. Guess it can't hurt. Or will it? Is everybody okay with this?
Yeah, sure. I'm fine with it. Yeah.
Oh wait, no, that was Satoshi. I'm fine with it.
Yay, charm.
Sure, whatever. I'm just the delinquent guy who's becomes a much more interesting character than generic protagonist guy. Well, there's not really any actual protagonist. If anything, Ayumi is the protagonist, I guess, but it's kind of like everyone's, well, not everyone, but it's like you got Ayumi, wait, no, that's not Ayumi. Ayumi, you got Satoshi, you got Shige, and you got Naomi. It feels like those are main characters, with Yuka also being sort of a main character. It's like, these are secondary characters right here. These were the characters that were added on. She might have been in the original as well, but these are the characters that are added on. And I think also you were also not in the original, I don't think either. So it kind of feels like the focus is kind of on these 5 characters more than anything else. But you know, they do all play a role, but these definitely feel like the main characters because they were in the original as well, that I haven't played, but I know it's quite different to this. Mushige, you too. Yes. Looks like the ayes have it. The floor is yours, Shinozaki. Great. Yeah, I can't give her the freaking Mion voice, or even the Shion voice, which is just a slightly altered Mion voice. It just doesn't fit her.
Okay, everybody gather in a circle around this paper Sachiko doll. And in your head, repeat the words, Sachiko, we beg of you. 7, 8, 9. Yeah, 9 times. No worry if you flub it a little. Just make sure you don't stop partway through. You have to say it 1 time for every person present. No more, no less, or the charm will fail.
それじゃあ行くよ。みんなも唱えてね。幸子さんお願いします。お、9回だよ。
Onegaishimasu. You know, that's one thing that boggles my mind a bit about Japanese. Is like su, that syllable is like, it's sometimes just pronounced as an S, like in that. Onegaishimasu. You might hear it occasionally pronounced onegaishimasu, but that just seems odd. It's like desu. A lot of times it's just kind of pronounced des. I feel like anime kind of like shit kind of emphasizes su to be more cutesy, I guess. But it's more just like natural, just be des. It'd be like, I don't know, trying to think of an example of using des. But you get the idea that U is often silent, and it's quite commonly silent as well, which throws me off, because like I could look at a word in Japanese and not really have a full idea how it could be pronounced, because sometimes the U's are silent. It's like in English, I guess, where you get words that have silent bloody letters. Confusing. I mean, the letter X is definitely one of them, isn't it? Think of things like xylophone. It's like, it sounds more like a Z than an X. It's freaking weird. Anyways,
Ready? Begin.
how do we begin? We're like RPG Maker sprites right here.
きっちり9回唱えた。
Yep.
Exactly 9. Yeah, let's get on with it. If we don't, I'm afraid I'll wind up saying it again. Okay, now everybody reach toward the paper doll. I give you a bit of the teacher voice there.
And grab hold of it any way you can.
Which is nowhere because of, the square kind of shape movement and all that. Because, it's old-timey RPG here. Like this. Exactly, you're not actually holding it, but you just use your imagination.
Now hold on really tightly. Dig your nails into it if you have to. Just don't let go. We're going to pull on it until it rips apart into 9 pieces, okay? On the count of 3. 1, 2, pull! Nicely done, everyone. Now just make sure you keep that scrap of paper safe. Slide it in your student ID holder or your wallet. Basically, anywhere it won't get lost. As long as we all have a little piece of Sachiko with us, we'll always be connected with one another as friends. That's the purpose of this charm.
Wow, that's actually pretty cool. Pretty cool, try super cool. I'll have to be extra careful not to lose my piece. I don't know what voice to use to Seiko. It's gotta have a distinct voice. She's got like a kind of different personality. She's kind of a bit of a comic relief character, if anything.
Thank you, Shinozaki. I've got a bit of a timid voice. I'll treasure this. By using this toilet paper, it will always be a part of my ass. No problem. Consider our promise that we'll all definitely hang out together again. Definitely. Stuff.
Well, I hate to say it, but I think it's about time we all get packed up and started heading home. Yes, ma'am. Said in, this is like there's more girls there. I can't exactly be like, voice act multiple characters at once now, can I? It's impossible. Well, it is possible, but that required post editing. I ain't fucking doing that.
地震
Bloody earthquakes. Loud music.
なんだおい
It's like, holy crap, pig. It's like I couldn't even finish my voice acting.
I'm scared.
See what I mean? She voice acted their big brother line, but not I'm scared. Quiet.
ユカ捕まってろ
I think that means I'm scared in Japanese. Somewhere along those lines. That's probably what she would have said.
消えて頭を守りなさい
Everybody calm down. Your voice acting isn't fully there and the music is overpowering us, but everybody calm the fuck down. It's like, well, that's not the... That's like screen may be shaking and shit may be breaking, but fuck, keep it together now.
早く
Did you say get under your desks? I think that's impossible with this riot style art. The floor! Everybody hang on to something. If you can. Anyway, I mean, you don't have to. It's optional.
何これ
Damn it, I can't see a thing.
どこだ
Doesn't voice act his faults. Satoshi! Fun fact, the name Satoshi means generic. No, it doesn't. I don't know what it actually means. The odd thing is, like, the names in Japanese have kanji characters, and I'm not familiar with kanji characters enough. So, like, it's like the kanji characters that combine together to give the names meaning, And I don't know if kanji characters he has his name, or any of these characters having their names. I doubt Ayumi's last name, Shinozaki, is probably a bit different to Shinozaki's in, Higurashi, because there's like a relevance to the kanji character in the name for like the success of the Shinozaki family, and so Mion's got like a different kind of kanji character for it. It's weird. I don't know. I doubt that Ayumi has it though, in her kanji name, whatever. I can move it, so I guess it's just a sprain. Where? I'm not at home, am I? Well, of course not. You were in a bloody classroom just seconds ago. It can't be. It can't be that I've got to voice act most of this game. I can't do those over-the-top screams, so fuck that. It's so dark I can barely see a thing. Is this the school? What's going on? What the hell is this place? What the hell is this place? Well, it's obvious. Even if you haven't played the game or watched a Let's Play of it like I remember all those years ago, it's kind of obvious where you've ended up. Just like it was foreshadowed. What were you expecting? It's like it's a horror game, for God's sake. But anyways, that'll do for the first part. I'll record immediately after because that was literally just the intro. It took a lot longer than I thought it would. Anyways, see you next time, viewers. See you next time.